The Greenskins update is finally here, and with it comes new campaign changes, new units, and updates to existing units.
Ich liebe es, wenn er so danst.
Unfortunately, I can't show you any of the new units just yet, but I can show you what they've done to some of the old lords to make them better. Although I'm currently misleading you, as Azhag is one of the only lords that hasn't actually been touched and is basically the same.
Mir ist da gleich aufgefallen, also das habe ich ja schon mal geguckt hier, das Video. Und zwar, dass die Schwarzorks jetzt ganz anders aussehen, viel dunkler und so. Also die sehen jetzt viel besser aus.
Either way, let me show you the ones that have been changed. We'll begin at the bottom with the Goblin Big Boss, who is technically a hero, not a lord, and while he's basically the same, he now comes with a new ability, They Needs Stabbing, which is a 29-second hex which reduces armor and melee defense of a lord or hero. So it's really going to turn him into a little bit more of an assassin, so he can go after those characters and potentially get some extra damage on them with this. It could also help him play his bodyguard role if he's reducing the defenses of whoever his lord may be fighting. So a nice addition for the Goblin Big Boss to give him a little bit more purpose.
Heller wurden die Schwarzorks gemacht, okay. Aber auf jeden Fall sehen sie jetzt besser aus. Und die Goblin Garg Bosse, die finde ich immer sehr nützlich, sowohl als Agent als auch auf dem Schlachtfeld.
And to the Orc War Boss, a lord that doesn't really see too much action unfortunately, but now he comes with a new ability, Smash 'em Faster, which gives plus 24 melee attack and plus 16 leadership to himself and all nearby units. This will make him great for supporting strong front lines. If you've got a bunch of Black Orcs, whack this in there alongside a Wire and everything else, it's going to make him pretty deadly in the combo. And he still has his Boar and Wyvern mounts. Now to something that could basically be considered a new unit, the Catchweb Spider Shrine Mount for the Goblin Great Shaman.
Ich finde, die Spinne macht den Goblin-Schaman um einiges nützlicher. Ist schon gut so. Und im Armeebuch kann sie auch eine riesige Artnork-Spinne haben.
This is basically just an Arachnarok spider mount for said lord, which is a really nice addition to the Greenskins Lord lineup, as we don't really have any big large lords. The closest before was probably Azhag on his Wyvern. But now we have this big old spider which does lots of damage, it's anti-large, it can charge around all over the place with its high mass, so it's really going to bring something new to the Greenskins Lord area because we don't really have any tough, tanky type damage soak lords.
Scheiße, ich krieg Gänsehaut, die ist aber echt eklig, wenn sie so nah dran ist.
Although that being said, in campaign it will have a few more abilities affecting Winds of Magic, costs and cooldown. And as for the Goblin Great Shaman,
ich habe mal Warhammer 1 damals, das habe ich mal mit 3D gespielt, also so mit 3D-Sensor und 3D-Brille. Und da waren die Spinnen richtig eklig. Oh Mann.
Himself, he comes with a new ability called Don't Even Try It, which is a direct damage spell designed for a single target, so much like Spirit Leech or something like that, but it does increase ability recharge time by 15 seconds, giving the Goblin Great Shaman even more reason to see some action on the battlefield.
Ich glaube, ich würde eher mit den Goblins kuscheln als mit der Spinne.
Now, what about good old Skarsnik? Did he get any love with this update? Well, he did, but only in the form of one single ability, but quite a powerful ability it is. Fermented Fungi is a 36-second hex which reduces melee defense by 24 and causes the unit it's targeted on to go into rampage, so they lose control and it'll just be running around doing whatever it wants for 36 seconds, which is very powerful, especially when it comes to using it on lords. If they're in a bad situation, you'll be able to keep them in that bad situation potentially. So a pretty powerful ability for Skarsnik to have, and he's not the only one that has this though.
Ich freue mich auf meine Skarsnik-Kampagne, wird cool.
The Night Goblin War Boss, the cheapest of all Greenskins lords, also has this ability, Fermented Fungi. What's more for him as well is that he has the Tormentor Sword item, so he can have an ability that locks people in place.
Sieht der jetzt auch anders aus? Ich glaube ja, ne? Den haben die, glaube ich, ein bisschen verändert.
And an ability that makes them go into rampage. What's more, he also has another new ability called De Boss's Loons, which, well, does this.
Ich verstehe, der Boss, der hat jetzt auch die Fanatics, das ist geil.
So lots of tricksy traps that could cause problems for enemy lords especially, giving the Night Goblin War Boss a little bit more potential to get some use than before. Now for Azhag the Slaughterer, a lord who didn't get too much love before, but now he should get aplenty, as he's got 2 new items. One is Azhag's Ard Armor, which gives plus 30 armor and plus 24 melee defense for himself and nearby surrounding units, so that's a nice defensive buff. And then for an offensive buff, you've got Slagger's Slashers, which will give plus 10 melee attack and plus 4 leadership to himself and nearby units. So this moves Azhag into kind of more of a supportive lord role, which is pretty nice and something a little bit different from other Greenskins lords. Also because he has that flying mount, he's the only flying unit that the Greenskins have, allowing him to move around the battlefield quickly and easily to support the army where needed. What's also nice as well for Azhag on Skullmuncher is that he's finally gained some melee defense. Before, he only had 24 melee defense on Skullmuncher, which was pretty bad considering other similar kinds of units on Manticores and things had 30 plus. So now he's got some more, it'll make him that little bit better surviving and hopefully make him a more viable lord pick.
Ich fand Azhag immer zu schwach, aber das ist nur meine Meinung. Ich glaube aber, die neuen Fähigkeiten werden ihn gut tun.
And finally, what about the big man himself, Grimgor Ironhide? Well, he is bigger and harder than ever. Quite literally, I think his model is actually bigger now, so he looks a lot more beefy. Now for his abilities, he's lost
Ich muss sagen, sein neues Model gefällt mir sehr.
Stand Your Ground, but instead has Get Back Here, and his other abilities have been replaced by some far superior ones. Best of the Best and You're Next. Best of the Best is a ward save that is activated whenever a lord or hero is near him, and it gives him plus 10 melee defense and plus 11 damage resistance. So that is very nice, going to help Grimgor survive much better when fighting other characters or getting gooned on by more than one character. And Your Next is a debuff that can be cast on enemy lords and heroes. It reduces their melee attack by 24, their speed by 48%, and most importantly, their melee defense by 40. So this
Viele mögen sein neues Aussehen nicht. Nee, ich finde es geil. Also, finde ich besser als vorher.
is going to give Grimgor a damn good chance of landing hits and make him do a lot more damage. Also, the reduction in speed means they won't be able to get away in a hurry, as it does last 24 seconds, and it reduces their melee attack to protect him a little bit too. And for his items, he still has Gitsnick, but he now has his Blood-Forged Armor from the campaign as well, which is an activatable explosion that only harms enemy troops and also gives him 30 armor as well. So this is going to be really useful for him to use that to blow enemy troops out the way so he can run away from things if he's in trouble. Again, just helping him survive, as Footlords can be very vulnerable. Does this stuff actually help Grimgor though and make him the best? Well, I have a video for that as well. You can check it out at the end. We'll test out whether Grimgor can take out some other strong lords. And one last thing that is just a cosmetic change. Black Orcs are finally black. They've always been red, which never really made sense because they're called Black Orcs, but now they're actually black with a little bit of Alliance colouring. And if you've ever seen the 8th edition army guide of Orcs and Goblins, you'll know that there's a picture of them black and they look freaking cool. So now they're actually black and they're not some kind of knockoff Crimson killers.
Ich finde, die sehen so recht geil aus.
So there we go. All the changes to the Lords of the Greenskins with the upcoming rework of the Greenskins. So there it is. I've made a bunch of other videos for this rework release. Do check them out here if you wish. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this and I will see you in the future.
Nächstes Video.
Azhag the Slaughterer. An orc reborn with the Greenskins update, getting his own new faction and campaign. This is just going to be a walkthrough of the beginning of Azhag's campaign to make sure you get a strong start if you're one of those who struggles with managing their kingdom. So, here we go. Azhag's faction, the Bone Rattlers. Initial challenge is normal, so not too crazy, and the main thing of note from the faction effects is that Azhag is bros with the vampires and Archon the Black. I can only assume it's a love of death that brings them all together, and this is going to be done on very hard, but anything less than that should be fine. If you're on legendary, you might need a bit more cheese, but we're going to go for very hard and below. Now, Azhag begins in Karak Ungor, which is near where the vampires start in Sylvania. And with the new Greenskins comes new mechanics as well, beginning with the War, which is built up passively. You get 1 War point per turn. You need to get 100 to get a War. You can also build it up by fighting battles and raising settlements, which is going to be very important for the way we're going to play at the start of this campaign. And then we also have Scraps, which is another new mechanic. You get these from fighting battles and from various other sources. And these are pretty important because they're required to research a lot of our technologies. If we don't have them, we simply can't do any more research. So we've got to hold on to them and not waste them. The other thing we can use them for is to upgrade our troops. If you click on a troop, you'll see this little arrow, which means you can upgrade them in some fashion. You can get various different upgrades which you can choose. A lot of them will need to be unlocked by researching technologies, so those can be a nice boost to your units when you can afford to spare the scraps. For now though, don't waste your scraps on that, save it for the research, so don't use any of your scraps.
Ja, echt schade, dass man die Änderungen im Gefecht nicht sieht, ne? Aber sind halt nur Werte eigentlich.
To start with, first order of business is put your hero inside your main army because we're going to need him to take our first settlement. So we've got our little predetermined battle here. At the start of every campaign we have these. So this is a fairly simple battle. You probably could win it by auto-resolving, but to be honest, we'll take far too many losses that are really going to slow us down. This is a really easy battle to win with minimal losses, so best to fight it so that we can keep our momentum going for the next few turns.
Das habe ich mir gemerkt, wie das geschafft hat.
Now, a lot of these early battles are fairly simple to win, provided you use your troops correctly. So I'd recommend using your infantry as a little front line, as an anvil, and then bring your trolls around the back, flank them around so they can hit the hammer and anvil, bring in that fear, bring in that attacked in the rear penalty, and they'll be able to rout off a lot of these units quickly. And then just use your spider riders to engage the missile units in melee, and that will quickly be all she wrote. Once you get a nice decisive victory there, we are obviously going to occupy this settlement. This is our first little stronghold area and province. Now, this is really going to be the base of operations for the start of
Und der Skin ändert sich nicht.
our campaign. We're not going to be looking to expand outside of this just yet. Now, for the commandments, I'd recommend you increase your growth and leadership for now, so we can start to build up our settlements and increase stability. Also make sure that you construct the gold mine for obvious reasons. The sooner we take this, the sooner we start getting some big monies. You should have enough in the bank as well to upgrade the muster fields to the brawling grounds if you want to, so you can get some more troops, but that's not essential, but worth doing as we have the money now. When it comes to technologies, we got a whole bunch of new things to deal with. Of course, a lot of these take scrap to be able to unlock, but to start with, go bigger and go faster are the best two to go with, so we can get around the map a bit quicker and increase our growth rate. I'll mouse over all of these at the end for those who wish to see it. And
Den Techbaum zeigt dann nachher noch ganz, da könnt ihr dann immer auf Pause machen, falls ihr dann alte Technologien sehen wollt.
the last thing to do before you end the turn is to recruit some boys. At least I'm going with boys. You could recruit some different units if you'd like to, but make sure you do that on the first turn so you have them ready for the next one. Now, as I mentioned, our goal is trying to build up our war at this point because we want to try and take out one of our enemies early. If we look at our victory objectives, depending on whether you're going for long or short, is of course going to change things. If you look at short, it's Ostermark, Kislev, and Karak Kadrin. Hold a bunch of places, usual kind of stuff. Now, Karak Kadrin is the one we want to pay attention to because they're nearby. And of course, they are dwarfs, so they can be a pain in the ass if we let them get too powerful. So this is going to be our target, and this is why we want the war, ideally. We're looking to build up this bar more, primarily by fighting battles and raising settlements. So that
Och, Michael, Azhag ist doch neu. Na gut, aber ist keine Festung, ne?
That's exactly what we're going to try and do right now by going after Ostermark. So we're going to move down, and again, very important, remember to recruit some troops so that they can be ready to help you out. I'm going with Orc Boys because they're great at smashing the Empire front lines. You could go more missile heavy if you fancy, or more Goblin Spears heavy, but that might make it a little bit harder to win battles. Now with an army of boys in tow, we should be able to take on Ostermark and hopefully take out some of their places. They've got 3 places to start with. We're going to go for Essen first, and then we're going to move up to Nagenhof, and then we'll move up hopefully to Beckenhafen, I think is somewhere over there. And if we do it in this order, we shouldn't have to go back on ourselves. We won't waste any time, and hopefully we'll be able to take out 2 of them at least with no problems. The third one can be a bit of a question mark, but that's the plan. So we're going to start to move down into the lands towards Essen to start with.
Jetzt, wo er seine eigene Fraktion hat und noch besser ist und so, da finde ich den auch schon viel besser als früher, ja.
And then on the next turn, naturally, we're going to go and take Essen. There shouldn't be an army there, so it should be an easy take. Again, though, it's probably worth fighting the battle, even though it's a big auto-resolve easy win for us. It's worth minimizing the losses so that we don't have to waste time waiting around for replenishment, and we'll be able to keep our momentum going. So fight this battle, same tactics as earlier, get a front line going, get some units to flank round, get the trolls to flank round, use that troll fear, get the spider riders after missiles, and it should be a nice comfortable victory with minimal losses. Once that's done, it's time to decide what to do with the settlement. And as I said, we don't really want to expand. This is a pretty hard place to hold because it's so far away from the rest of our land. So much better to raise it, get the war points, get the scraps, get a little bit of money, and keep our momentum going to build up that war. And
Naja, dann, also wie man gesehen hat bei Siedlung vernichten, da kriegt man dann Schrott und der füllt sich auf. Und was war das andere noch? Was bringt
Keep
das
our momentum
andere?
going to build up that war. And it may seem like it's going to take
Ich muss weiter zurück. Da. Ähm, ja, bei Besetzen ist ganz normal. Bei Plündern und Besetzen hat sich auch nichts geändert. Bei Plündern hat sich auch nichts geändert. Also wenn man vernichtet, dann kriegt man Schrott, was man ja braucht, um die Einheiten aufzuwerten, und +2 für den Warg. Naja, dann hat man wenigstens mal einen Grund, eine Siedlung zu vernichten.
and keep our momentum going to build up that war. And it may seem like it's going to take a while to build up, but it does actually go pretty quick as long as you stay fighting, winning the battles. Like there, we just gained points for winning the battle, and we also gained points for raising that settlement. So we've got a fair few points out of that one little engagement. Now we're going to go do the same thing to Nagenhof. We're going to go faster now so we can move a bit further as well. And make sure you do
Niederreisen bevölkert das in 2 Runden weg. Ja, das stimmt. Das kann man danach ja auch wieder machen. Also das würde ich als Spieler eventuell auch machen, weil du kriegst ja diese Währung und den Schrott, den kriegst du ja nicht pro Runde. Den kriegst du ja, wenn du es niederreißt. Von daher ist das gar nicht so dumm, wenn du das dann danach nochmal wieder bevölkerst. Sofern es die Situation dann zulässt.
any upgrades to the cities, upgrade that gold mine, a good thing to try and do as early as possible, a good investment for your money. Upgrade Karak Raziak as well, apply any skill points wherever you wish, and then we'll be ready to go and take on Nagenhof. So on to the next turn, proceed to Nagenhof, take it out again. Best to fight the battle, I think. It's an easy win, but it's one we can do with minimal casualties. The auto-resolve will just be too much of a waste and slow us down. So beat the crap out of Nagenhof, and then again, much like Essen, we're going to do the same thing and not going to occupy it. We're just going to raise it for now, get a bit of money, get the war points, get the scraps, and keep our green ball of doom a-rolling.
Kriegt man den Warg denn eigentlich auch irgendwie anders voll? Frage ich mich gerade. Vielleicht durch Plündern oder so? Also durch die Marschstellung plündern vielleicht noch oder irgendwie so? Weiß das jemand?
Now this is where things can get a little bit more unpredictable because Ostermark probably have a big army somewhere up by Beckenhofen. So what I'm going to do now is take the time to replenish and recruit some new troops. And just a couple of words on diplomacy. We'll have the Red Eye tribe nearby. They'll be friendly to us. You can get a non-aggression pact with them. They'll probably offer it to you fairly early. You can just get friendly with them for now. And with the Greenskins rework, all lords can now do what the Norskins can do. If you beat a faction's leader, you'll be able to confederate them. So that's what we can do with them later. The other faction to get friendly with is the Vampires. Because we already have those good relations, get that non-aggression pact early, and we can get a solid ally to help us out in this area. Other than that, there's not a lot to talk about. Try to avoid Kislev because they're pretty strong at this point, so we don't want to mess with them for now. Let the chaos come down and deal with them later, and we'll go and finish them off. You may get some trouble from other Empire factions, although this didn't happen to me very often in the few times I tried the campaign start through, so mostly diplomacy should be pretty simple early on.
Also seiner Meinung nach ist Kislev am Anfang noch zu stark. Das sollte man lieber nicht machen.
Now, at this point, I'd say try and fill up your army, take an encampment, and then recruit some troops. It's going to be a little bit more expensive, but it'll be quicker than running all the way back to our lands. We can do this so that we can try and go over and see what Beckenhafen's doing, because at this point, we're really just looking for a fight. And very often, Ostermark will have an army that's coming after you. There's a big full stack on the right there. They tend to come after your army. They never seem to go after my settlements unless I happen to be there, so it should be safe that they'll come and try to take you on. But at this point, we kind of have two options. We can stay up here and try to farm Ostermark armies to build up our war bar, or we can just go and see what Karak Kadrin is doing, and maybe we'll get lucky and it'll be undefended, which is exactly what I'm going to try and do now, as they are at war with the Red Eye, so sometimes they're away from the settlement. So you can either go up, try and finish off Ostermark if you can, or just fall back and try to go after Karak Kadrin. If there's a big army at Karak Kadrin, then maybe wait and see if it goes away, or just head back and try to look to farm those Ostermark armies. In this case, I'm going to get lucky. There's nobody here, so I'm going to push after it, lay siege to Karak Kadrin. And if we can take this out early, this is going to be a big gain for us. So we're going to make a play and try to take it out. As they do have some tough units here, I am going to build some towers because it's only a one-door settlement, so there's only one way in, which can be pretty difficult without towers. We can just about see far enough to see if Karak Kadrin is coming back to try and defend, so we'll be able to fall back if we need to. Eventually, though, I'm able to take the settlement here, and Karak Kadrin belongs to Azhag now. So that's a big win for us.
Ja, also da muss man aber Glück haben, dass dann die Armee nicht in der Siedlung ist, weil sonst geht das nämlich nicht.
Taking out Karak Kudrin early, although we haven't taken out the faction just yet. Their army is still around and they do happen
Ja, und da ändert sich der Skin, aber nicht der der Siedlung. Da hast du schon recht gehabt, Alduin. Ist mir gestern so gar nicht aufgefallen. Ich habe nur gesehen, dass sich der Skin ändert.
to have another settlement in this case. So we do have that to take out, but we've taken away a lot of their power, taken away their strong buildings. So they've only got this little layer left and we'll be able to finish them off. No problem. All the while still building our war as well. So taking them out early should be easy enough. Now, in this case, I'm going to get pretty lucky as Karak Kadrin is going to get destroyed by the Red Eyes. They're going to get finished off by our neighbouring Orc tribes. So that saves us a job and has got rid of Karak Kadrin nice and early. All by turn 20, we've captured Karak Kadrin, got rid of them as a faction. Ostermark is nearly dead as well. So things are looking pretty good. So that is pretty much our strong start.
Ja, so ein Mix ist hässlich, ne? Wenn die Siedlung zwergisch ist und dann alles rumherum nicht so. Das ist so ein Mix.
For Azhag, he's got a nice foothold in the mountains. We've got allies around us, the Red Eye tribe, we've got vampires nearby. Nothing can come from the north, so it's only the west and south that we need to worry about. But we've got options on what we can go and do now. We could come down south and try to take out some more of these dwarfs. We do need to go and finish off Ostermark though, so we could go over there, but there does seem to be a chance that the vampires will finish them off for you. And then obviously we need to take out Kislev as well, but like I said, they're pretty big right now. Let the chaos weaken them, and then we can take them out later. If your campaign does end up like mine, then I'd recommend you go and take out Ostermark. You should be pretty close to, if not have your war, so you'll be able to finish them off if you have that, no problem, and you can just steamroll through them with all the orcs in the freaking land. And I've just managed to get my war here, so I'm going to activate that and use that to help me take out the last remaining parts of Ostermark, which is one settlement down here with a big stack in it. So we'll finish that off, and then that'll be them out of the way, and we'll have two of our short
Jetzt nimmt er einfach zum Zeigen mal das einfachste Ziel.
campaign victory targets done with, all by about turn 30. If you want to go for the long campaign, you'll need to go and get the Empire, so that's going to take a bit longer. But basically getting a strong mountain fortress area to work out of, build up your armies, then send them out to go and raise and sack, get some money, seems to be the way to go early on. Of course, there's a million different ways that campaigns can turn out. Only the first few turns are really kind of predictable. It's just basically about trying to build up that war, farm those Ostermark armies and their settlements so you can build up the war bar more, then eventually build up, get that war and use it to take out Karak Kadrin as they're generally the tougher opponent, and or Ostermark as well. You should be able to get a successful war win from this as well, so you get your trophy and your war bonuses, which of course are always nice. And when it comes to Azhag himself, well,
Na, ich finde es auf jeden Fall besser als vorher.
it's safe to build it how you like. I like to go for the magic early, as it can really make a difference against the Empire armies that don't have any magic yet, especially Soulblight, great for reducing their armor and helping you churn through them a little bit quicker. There's lots of other exciting stuff to get later on, but build it how you like to start with. You could put more work into the army if you want to, but at least try and get Soulblight early, because that is a damn useful spell and just makes much better use of Azhag's potential power. So, there we go. How to start the Azhag campaign strong. Hopefully this has been helpful to those who generally struggle with campaigns. Let me know if you find it useful, as this is a new kind of video for me that I'm trying out. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will leave you with all the technology.
Naja, ich finde es gut, dass er Karak Ungo bekommt und nicht in dieses komische Trollland kommt. Und nächstes.
Grimgore Ironhide. An orc who's been lagging behind other lords in the past few years has now received some love with the Greenskins update, making him bigger and harder than ever. But how good is he? Is he really the best? How many of the top damage dealer lords can he defeat? Well, that's what we're going to try and find out right now. We're going to have a showdown with a bunch of the top melee lords in Total War Warhammer 2. They're going to be in a duel situation with all abilities and items available for use. I will take away damage and summon spells though if they have magic, just to make it a little bit more fair and all about the melee. This is by no means a massively accurate way of testing lords against each other, but hey, it's just a bit of fun. Let's see how good Grimgore really is now. So the first challenger rolling up to the plate is old Grombrindle the White Dwarf, taking on an orc. So a nice lore-friendly matchup here, Grimgore versus Grombrindle, both diving in with their massive two-handed axes. And they're both actually quite similar in terms of their stats. Both got lots of melee attack, lots of armor, lots of damage. And Grimgore has a bunch of new abilities, one which can reduce melee defense of the enemy, which is very powerful, which is why Grombrindle has 2 melee defense right now, meaning he is going to take a hell of a lot of damage, as Grimgore is going to be more likely to land his hits. But these two are both just trading toe-to-toe. Nobody's getting knocked over or knocked about too much. They're both just exchanging hits, tanking it out. Grimgor not lost too much health, about a quarter. Grombrindle less than half now. So it's looking bleak for the White Dwarf. That loss of melee defense, I think, really hurt him. And Grimgor still has his item Gitsnick, which will give him a damage boost when he wants it. And that can be used a couple of times per each of these duels, so that's helping Grimgor out as well. Grombrindle giving it back though. He's confused Grimgor. He's got a free hit in there. Is it going to help him though? He's got Grimgor below half health now. But it's still looking...
Ja, die Kämpfe sehen wirklich komisch aus. Ich hoffe, das ändert sich in den nächsten Jahren nochmal zum Positiven.
Pretty rough for him, as he is nearly out of luck, nearly out of health. And away he goes. He's had enough. He's had enough. He doesn't want to mess with Grimgor anymore. He's off skis. One down for Grimgor. Well, if a dwarf can't do it, maybe an elf can. What about Malice?
Ich glaube, bei Three Kingdoms sehen die besser aus, oder?
Darkblade with his Zarkaningness. They both just charged in, both popping lots of abilities, lots of stuff going on the unit cards. That explosion you just saw was one of Grimgor's new items as well, the Blood-Forged Armor, which is from the campaign. It's an explosion that hurts enemies and not friendlies, and also gives Grimgor 30 armor, so that's very useful in these fights, going to help him survive that little bit better. Now, as you can see, Malice is taking a pretty heavy pounding. His stats aren't quite up to Grimgor's. I am going to run away here, though, and try and let him Zarkan up to see if he can do anything with that. And I'm trying not to let Grimgor hit him again here. Trying to run him away until he Zarkans. There we go. He's done it now. Popped his ability as well, I think. Grimgor's below half health now. So maybe Malice can turn this around. Maybe Zarkan can turn it around, rather. But he's down. He's still losing health, of course. Zarkan constantly losing health. Grimgor, though, 3/4 health. Can Malice do it? Can he do it? Grimgor's wavering. I'm going to have to use Get Back here to give him plus 16 leadership to keep him in the fight.
Oh, jetzt wankt er aber.
Malice, can he finish him, though? Can he get him before that leadership buff runs out? He's going to do a little shimmy shake on him. Don't know what that really does. Ooh, shake your shoulders at him like a stripper. Come on, Malice. I know you're a dark elf, but Jesus Christ. Grimgor still laying into him, though. Going to pop Blood-Forged Armor there. More shoulder shakes. Oh, down he goes. All of a sudden, I think Zarkan run out of HP.
Yeah.
He did well, though. He did get a few free hits when we were trying to let him Zarkan, but he did pretty well. But Grimgor topped him. Now, what about French hardman Luen Leoncoeur? On Biquois, or Biki, or however the hell you say it. Somebody French, let me know how you're supposed to say that. And I did put him on his mount to make it a little bit more realistic to what you might actually come up against, because very rarely will you ever see Luen on foot. So we got him on Biquois. He is going to run away and cycle charge Grimgor a little bit, which is going to be a test. But as you see, Grimgor doesn't actually get knocked over when he comes flying in. And he is giving it to old Luen, who is struggling here. He's getting a pounding. Luen, very tough with his regeneration, but not necessarily a fantastic damage dealer himself. In he comes again. You'll notice Grimgor goes absolutely nowhere. He's a lot higher mass now, I think. He doesn't get knocked over so easy, which is going to give him a damn good chance against a lot of these big, heavy lords that are around now. Grimgor still laying into him. Seems to stagger Luen quite often. Oh, he's going to go away again. Is he going for good, or is he just running away for another cycle charge? He's coming back for more. He's not got much health left. In he comes. This will probably be his final run. He's hanging in there. I'm using all of Grimgor's abilities as we go and as they pop up, pretty much. Grimgor goes up to about 675 weapon strength as well once you've used all his buffs, which is pretty insane. He does tons and tons of damage. Luen just about alive. Going to fly around and come back for one more charge with his last little bit of health. See if he can do anything with it. I mean, he's obviously not going to. Grimgor's pretty beaten up, though. He is below 3/4 health. So, Luen's done a fair bit. Blood-Forged Armor there. Bit of a hit from Luen, but that's it. Heroic victory for Grimgor. Good effort from Luen.
Schade, aber König Lone ist eigentlich gar nicht schlecht.
Maybe a skipping lizard is more what we need, so let's try out Nakai. He hits very hard, 520 armor-piercing damage. Again, very similar stats to Grimgor, much like Grombrindle. But using that Your Next ability has brought Nakai down to 0 melee defense, meaning he is going to feel every hit of Grimgor's axe pretty much. Nakai hit him so hard there, he's spun him around, he's confused. Come on, Grimgor, get with it, buddy. He's back. These two are just going to trade blows. Nakai seems to have some splash attacks that maybe don't hit Grimgor. I'm not sure how those animations work exactly, because he kind of hits in a different direction and then hits back at Grimgor. But Nakai not really doing too much damage to Grimgor just yet. Grimgor's taking about half of Nakai's health now. And Grimgor lost about 1/4 of his. Oh, he's knocked him flying though. He knocked him slow-mo flying in the air. A big shoulder barge from Nakai, the first lord to put Grimgor on the floor today. Manages to get a free hit on him as well. Oh, Grimgor cracks him back though. Not happy about that. The guy facing the wrong way. Oh, he just cracked him on the nose. I've not seen that animation before. It's just like a little punch. That was brilliant. A proper
Wann schlägt Nakai manchmal komisch.
little street fight jab. Nakai, though, struggling to keep up with Grimgor. Half health, wavering from Nakai. And it's going to be bye-bye for Nakai. Here we go. He's off. He's had enough. Fuck.
Aber auch er ist kein Gegner für Grimgorg.
Yes, he says. Fuck this shit. He's too hard. Off he goes. So another one bites the dust for Grimgor. What about some undead? What about a vampire? What about Vlad von Karstein? Not necessarily a fantastic melee damage
Ich glaube, das könnte interessant werden.
dealer, but he is pretty damn tough with his crazy regeneration, so we'll see what Grimgor can do. I have given Vlad most of his magic, I've taken away the summons. He even has Invocation of Nehek, so he can heal himself if he wants to. And he's also got the Von Karstein ring, which gives a 90% ward save, so he's basically taking no damage at the moment, and if he does, he regenerates it anyway. He's also nerfed Grimgor into the ground because he's only got 6 melee attack now, so Grimgor is going to struggle to hit anything, all those spells, cutting Grimgor down to size a bit. And you can see Grimgor has lost a considerable amount of health now and hasn't done a lot to Vlad because of all his regeneration and his ward save, taking away Grimgor's melee attack. So Vlad taking away Grimgor's strength and really turning the tables on him. He's starting to get a little bit of damage on him now, but he regenerates so damn quickly, does Vlad, so Grimgor struggling to really put any decent
Tja, es wird schlecht aus für ihn.
damage on him. Done a little bit now. Got to wear out all that regeneration. Here comes some healing for Vlad as well. Trying to help himself out to survive even longer. And he's maybe able to spook Grimgor off, break his leadership, even if he can't necessarily kill him. He doesn't have that armor piercing damage, so gonna struggle to get through that thick armor too quickly. He's doing alright though. Still below half health for Grimgor. Vlad, though, just keeps coming back. You get his health down, it just goes straight back up. What can you do here, Grimgor? Got to wait for the abilities to come together. Bit of blood-forged armor there. Starting to get some nice damage there, though. Could this be it? Can Grimgor turn it around? He's nearly at a quarter health. Come on, big boy. You can do this. We finally run out Vlad's regeneration. You can see the little bar here. It shows where Vlad can regenerate to. You can only get this much health. Oh, a bit less from that big hit from Grimgor. Grimgor still on a quarter health. Here comes the potential game changer, though. I've got another You're Next. I waited with Gitsnik till I got You're Next, so I've used both of those at the same time.
Ob der das noch hinkriegt.
And now I'm going to try and pour damage into Vlad before he routs off our precious Grimgor. It's looking bleak for Grimgor, though. He's below 1,000 health. Come on. You can do it, big fella. Don't let yourself get beaten by a vampire. More blood-forged armor. Ugh. You dirty corpse. Die. Oh, nice hit there. Is he dead? No, he's still standing. One more hit. Is that going to take him? He's casting. Oh, he goes down. He explodes in
Er hat es doch noch geschafft.
a hail of ash. And Grimgor is victorious once again. So Vlad couldn't get the job done, but like your mother always told you, where a vampire fails, a crab will succeed. So here comes Silostra on a rotting Leviathan. Can they get the job done? They've knocked over Grimgor early. Bit of the armor there to try and save him. I have used You're Next and Gitsnik, so he's kind of wasting those abilities because he got knocked over again. And this fight is going to be a bit of a crazy one to watch because there's so much crab all over the place. It's really hard to see what's going on half the time, but Grimgor manages to stand his own most of the time. He doesn't get knocked over too often, which does seem to be the problem with these big heavy lords. Starting to get some damage on Silostra though, taking about a third of the health. He's got about 3/4 himself, so he's turning it around. Got another Gitsnik, gonna put that damage in. And honestly, this battle took a while. It took a goddamn while. We'll skip ahead. Got that melee attack reducing ability from Silostra there. She did have most of her spells. Knocked him over. Once again, crab on top of him. He's okay though, he's getting back up. He's about half health now. Rotting Leviathan down to about a quarter. So it's getting close, but Grimgor should be able to hold on. The crab, as long as he doesn't keep knocking him over too much, Grimgor will still have a fair shot at taking him out. Another big shot. Oh, Grimgor's down again. Crab on top of him, but oh, Silostra goes down all of a sudden. And a victory for Grimgor. I guess she crumbled away or something. Grimgor on his knees, which is probably where he should be at the end of this fight because it seemed like a tough one for him just because he kept getting knocked over so much. But he survived. He's done it. He's still the best.
Finden ihn zu stark, okay. Ich glaube, sie hatten das Ziel, dass sie ihn zum Stärksten machen wollten. Muss man mal sehen, ne?
Alright, what about another large lord? Kolek, Sun Eater. Can the mountain god slay Grimgor Ironhide? He's got a few abilities and damage buffs himself. He's knocked Grimgor over straight away though. He's not messing around. Gonna stand on him. Gonna give Grimgor his armor to help him out to survive that knockdown. Taking a pound there. Not done too much damage to Kolek yet. 2 hits in. Taking a little bit of his health off. Grimgor only lost a little bit though. Another hit coming in for both. It's a pretty even trade so far. Grimgor giving it back. And he did kind of lose You're Next, the ability, because I used it quite early and Grimgor got knocked over, so he couldn't really take advantage of the fact that Kolek had no melee defense. So he's kind of missed an opportunity there, which might help Kolek out and allow him to beat down Grimgor enough. Both just standing toe-to-toe trading. Grimgor not getting knocked down too often, thankfully, once or twice maybe. He's got Kolek down to half health, but he's nearly at half health himself. Bit of Bloodforged armor coming in. Kolek just smashing away at him. Seems to be missing a fair few times though. Grimgor's got Gitsnick going on, so a bit of extra damage for him. Kolek gonna lean on him and try and put his weight on him. Didn't really help him though.
Harter fight.
Both of them not really going anywhere health-wise too quickly right now. Both hanging around half-ish. Grimgor still trying to smash him. Kolek hasn't hit Grimgor for a while, it feels like. Bit of a stalemate now. Nobody can seem to hit anyone. Although Kolek's starting to lose health. Kolek's missed Grimgor a million times. He just cannot land a hit. Kolek down to about quarter health. More Bloodforged armor for Grimgor. Both with over 50 melee defense, so they're pretty good at dodging attacks, which is probably why Kolek can't really seem to hit Grimgor too much at the moment. He's running out of juice. It was looking good
Jetzt hat er doch die
for
Oberhand.
him. He started off strong, but now he just can't seem to land enough hits. Although Grimgor also struggling to land hits. This is taking way longer than it seems like it should. Got that Your Next ability coming though, taking away Kolek's melee defense, and that is gonna make Kolek struggle. He's wavering now, got no melee defense, feeling Grimgor's hits, and away he goes. Target slotted, even getting a hit in after he shattered. What a brave effort from Kolek. Not good enough though. Grimgor still the best. Alright, what about an Ent, or I mean Durthu? He's big, he's tanky, he hits hard, and he's got magic. I did take some of his damage spells off him, Flock of Doom and the Amber Spear, to make it more about the melee. He's still got all his buffs and debuffs, which he's using right now, although he's just standing there at the moment, letting Grimgor pound on him. Grimgor putting up some damage. Durthu losing health, but he's giving it back to Grimgor. Grimgor's down to half health, pretty much. Durthu also down to half health, so he's making some plays here. He's put far more damage on Grimgor than anyone else has in a hurry, so maybe he can be the one to stop Grimgor. They're about even in the health. I'm not sure what exactly it is that Durthu's doing to really land his hits well. He's got a lot of melee attack, but he's got less weapon strength than some of the other lords, Grombrindle and Nakai. But he is putting the hurt on Grimgor. And Grimgor's struggling. He's got less health than Durthu now. Oh, it's going to be close. Is Grimgor going to get some abilities back to maybe save him? Pretty even. Oh, gets staggered there.
Toto schlägt sich noch gut.
Handing it back. Getting stood on by the tree. Down to about a third of his health left. Durthu's got a little bit more. Oh, it's getting close. No, Grimgor. Don't fail me. I'm going to use Get Back here to give him some leadership. Help keep him in the fight. Can he survive? It's looking bleak. Oh, Durthu's got so much health. Here comes Your Next though. Grimgor's managed to get Your Next and Bloodforged armor off. This is pretty big for him. Could help him survive. He's lowered Durthu's melee defense. He's turning it. He's hanging in there. He's dodged a few attacks, I guess. He's pretty much evened out the health now. Come on, Grimgor. You got this, buddy. You're the best. Come on. Show him you're the best. He's on his last bit of health. He's overtaken him health-wise. Come on, Grimgor. Oh, he's been stood on. Oh, Durthu's wavering. Durthu. Oh, he's broken. He's broken. Grimgor hangs in there to defeat the tree. He damn well nearly did it. If he'd had his
Da habe ich eigentlich eher gedacht, dass Toto gewinnt, aber er hat wieder gewonnen.
magic and would weaken Grimgor before he'd reached him with Amber Spear and things, he might have been able to take him, but look at that cheesy smile. Grimgor's happy. So he's felled every competitor so far. What about the Deathmaster though? An assassin who excels at murdering lords and heroes. He's dropped his Deathmaster sigil early on Grimgor, so that's going to take away Grimgor's charge bonus, which is pretty huge for Grimgor. So he is going to lose that. He's going to bring in his Vortex as well, his Deathmaster. So taking away that big 70 charge bonus of Grimgor is a pretty strong play from Deathmaster Snitch. But he's not done too much damage with it, even using the Vortex. Spaced the wrong with it. Oh, he took a big hit from that. He had his back to him. Got him hit. He's been knocked over. It's not looking good for the Deathmaster. He's been trodden on. Oh, Snitch is getting mashed up. He's trying to get away.
Snitch hat aber schon coole Animation.
Grimgor. Oh, he just doesn't have the armor for this, I don't think, does Deathmaster. He doesn't do well in this kind of one-on-one fight. He needs to stab people in the back and then run away. He can't stand toe-to-toe with the big boys. He's going to run away. Is he routing, though? Nope. He's just running. He's just running. Going to line it up. Maybe not the best idea, though, because this is going to give Grimgor his charge bonus when he hits him, which is probably going to spell the end of the Deathmaster. Here he goes. Oh, big hit there from Grimgor. Is it enough? No. Snitch hanging in there. He's got Grimgor to half health, but not enough. He's wavering. The rat's off. The rat's off. No good. Probably not really Snitch's kind of fight. And now for the man you've all been waiting for, Tyrion. Well known as one of the best.
Ja, das ist jetzt. Ich hatte vor dem Update hatte ich schon mal Grimgor gegen Tyrion gemacht, ein Duell. Und da hatte Grimgor auch schon gewonnen. Also von daher.
Melee lords going. He has 2 health bars technically. Can he be one to fell Grimgor? It's very possible. He is freaking tough. Let's find out. Coming in on the charge. Big charge attacks from both. We'll see who can put out more damage here. Tyrion has a bunch of handy damage abilities for himself. Got Feint and Riposte going right now, as well as a bunch of others. He is taking your next though, taking away any melee defense buffs he may be getting. It's reasonably even in the damage, a little bit more for Grimgor. He's got Bloodforged armor going there, that's going to help him out. Another big hit from Grimgor, not sure it landed though. Tyrion evening it out. A duel for the ages this one, and very theme appropriate with the DLC, High Elves versus Greenskins. It's about even, half health for both. Can Tyrion be the one to prove that he's the best? It's getting close. Tyrion, of course, going to get a health boost, though, when he gets low on health. So that could have a big play here. Both landed shots. Tyrion, about a third of his health left. Grimgor, about just over a third of his health left. Surely someone's going to waver soon. Well, there goes Tyrion. Oh, there comes his healing, though. Gives him over half of his health back. A challenge for Grimgor. He's still wavering though as Tyrion. Can he hang on enough to finish off Grimgor? He's got his Bloodforged armor again, helping him survive that little bit. Can Tyrion do it? Can Tyrion beat the best? Both just standing in front of each other, trading blows. No messing around, running away, coming back. Both just taking it, tanking it, hanging in there. Oh, they're both landing hits. Tyrion's going. He's off. He's had enough. He's not the best. He admits it. He is not the best. Grimgor, still the best.
Das hatte ich schon mal gemacht, aber ich weiß nicht mehr, was ich da Tyrion gegeben hatte. Auf jeden Fall habe ich mit Grimgor schon mal Tyrion besiegt.
So is that it? Can nobody take on Grimgor? Is there nobody left who could potentially take down Grimgor Ironhide?
I'm ready! Let me kill!
Oh Mann.
Oh yes, there's still one left. Big old Throg. He's a troll with a purpose today, and he's coming out to see if he can put down the best. Comes in hard with a big charge, knocks Grimgor down straight away, making a statement, putting Grimgor on his ass. He's literally running circles around him just to mock him. Sorry about that.
Hat mich so ein bisschen an Wrestling erinnert.
The camera, it goes a bit crazy when you exit those follow views. They're throwing down though. Grimgor's back up, back on his feet, giving it back to Throg. Throg obviously has that regeneration. He's taken a fair bit of damage already though. He's obviously designed a little bit more as an anti-large lord because he has that bonus versus large, but he still seems to put the hurt on enemy lords. He's doing it to Grimgor right now for sure. Giving him a swift kick to the face. Grimgor retaliates. Both boys just tucking their chins in and throwing bombs. Who's going to take it? They're both down to about half health now. Grimgor just above, Throg just below, but Throg is regenerating. That is his perk. He's beaten down the best at the moment. Can Grimgor stay the best? Or does Throg have what it takes to put the best in the bin? We shall see. Grimgor losing his health. Throg, think overtaking him in the health. He's holding on. His regeneration saving him. Got a Gitsnick for Grimgor and a Bloodforged armor. That's going to help keep him in the game. Throg though, ooh, a conk on the head. Grimgor is losing health. His leadership's dropped down to 4, so he is wavering at this point. He is starting to waver. I'm going to have to use Get Back here to keep his leadership up so he doesn't run away. Throg starts to waver. Who can hang on? Can Throg kill him before he wavers? Can he do it? Can he beat the best? Oh, another hit. And Throg. No, Throg's had enough. Bollocks to this, he says. He's off. Grimgor is officially the best. Nobody can seem to touch him with all his new abilities.
Knapp gewonnen.
He is an absolute monster. So there you go. It seems that Grimgor is now indeed the best. There were a few tests I didn't do. As you saw, there was no Empire, no Beastmen, and no Tomb Kings. Empire and Beastmen, I didn't really think I would have anyone that could stand up to him, so I didn't really bother because they didn't have much of a chance. I did try some out, such as Karl Franz, who just, yeah, his face at the end of the battle just said it all, really.
Tja, Karl Franz hat auch keine
And for the
Chance.
Tomb Kings, the only option I could really think of was Cetra. I tried it on a War Sphinx, which was a bit much because it just kept knocking Grimgor over non-stop and he couldn't do anything, so he did lose to that, but it's kind of an unfair contest because he was losing to the mass of the War Sphinx rather than Cetra's abilities in combat. If anyone can actually beat Grimgor though, it's probably actually Durthu who came the closest, and if you give him his magic spells, he can indeed whittle Grimgor down before he's even reached him with that Amber Spear or with Flock of Doom, so a little bit cheeky, but he can beat him if you allow all the magic. But in melee, Grimgor is unchallenged. For the most part, he is the best, but out in the battlefield there'll be no rules, so he probably will be challenged by a few top boys, but for the most part, Grimgor is now the man. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the future.